Okay, yeah, now we've had the question of pornography come up again. Um, Look, I think, the fact that it's been raised means that whoever raised it realises it is an issue. We're called to holiness. Now, what does holiness mean? Holiness is being set apart for God, set apart from worldly things for spiritual things. In Romans 8, we read that the mind that's focused on the things of this world will go down the track of the practices of the things that are of the world. The mind focused on the things of the Spirit will follow the way of the Spirit. In Galatians 5, we read that the life of the Spirit and the life of the flesh are at war with each other. Paul says you cannot do what you want to do because the things that please the Spirit are against the things of the flesh. Having said that, look, porn these days is just so there and in your face and so easy to access and so there. It's a reality we have to deal with and live with. Now, look, in a broad strokes approach, we could probably take the argument that goes with ritually unclean foods. Jesus said nothing that goes into a man can make him unclean. Now, you take, for instance, someone that works in the censorship board that has to watch different movies to give them their different ratings. Is someone who goes to work and does that automatically unclean before God and automatically living an unholy life because they're watching this stuff so they can decide, oh, that's not acceptable for the Australian market or whatever? Clearly not. Nothing that goes into a man can make him unclean. It's what comes out of a man that makes him unclean. So, look, let me say, if you're out there and you love the Lord and you're struggling with porn, I'm not just going to say to you, well, it's unholy, so cut it out. Because for one, law will never set you free and it won't help. What you can do is keep it open and honest before God the whole time. God, look at this stuff that I'm doing, please help me with this. And don't hide from him. Be open with him about it. Ask him to show you in a true sense from the Spirit what his attitude to this whole thing is and to set you free from it. It's an endless world of lust that is never happy or satisfied anyway. Now, as I said before, nothing that goes into a man can make him unclean. It's what comes out. And I think you know that there's nothing good coming of it. It's just this bottomless pit of desire. Don't focus on that. If you try to fight sexuality, fight porn, and fight masturbation, and fight whatever it is so that you can live a holy life, you're trying to achieve spirituality through law. Fight the other fight. Fight the fight of knowing Jesus, loving him, praying. Fight the fight of being in a good relationship with him. And then when these other things happen that break that fellowship, you'll be less attracted to them because the spiritual can take over. The spiritual can win you over from within. If you think to yourself, I've got to get clean, I've got to get right so that I can know him, you're fighting against yourself. These are things you'll be drawn to doing and want to do. And you'll be at war with yourself. Fight the good fight, the fight of knowing Jesus. Let him transform you. Same thing applies to couples that aren't married, that get very cosy and cuddly with each other. Where are the boundaries there? I've heard preaching, that anything below the neck, you're immediately into sin. Well, we shouldn't be making rules up that the Word of God didn't put there. The overarching rule is love. Love is the rule. So for one, if this physical contact you're having leads to sexuality outside of marriage and that's damaging you and your walk with God, well, that's not love for a start. If it isn't leading to a sexual encounter, or sexual intercourse anyway, but other sexual encounters, you've got to ask yourself, when did this stop being love? Because you're going down a dead-end street. You're igniting a fire and taking someone somewhere with passion that can't lead where God intended it to go. You know, God intended the whole intensity of sexuality and romantic love to go somewhere beautiful. You start that process and then, oh yes, that's right, we're not married, we can't have sex, so let's stop. Well, if you want to know what's acceptable and what's not in that area, it's when does it stop being love? To ignite something and then take it away. You know, if someone's on the 40-hour famine, and you're going to bring out this beautiful homemade pie you've just bought and go, isn't this beautiful? You know, I'm just about to cut a slice and have some. Oh, you can't have any, can you? Oh, you're on the 40-hour famine. Right? Now, the Bible does not say, don't put a freshly baked meat pie under the nose of someone during the 40-hour famine. Right? That is not Colossians 19 verse 5 or anything like that. But the law of love says, don't come to someone and with things that they want and desire but can't have. So if you think you love someone and for that reason you want to kiss them and keep kissing them and hold them and touch them and start to stir up passion that can't go anywhere, well, you've stopped loving them. You've started hurting them.